Mickey Thompson presents the Off-Road Championship Grand Prix. From Los Angeles, California, right in the shadow of the San Gabriel Mountains, here it is at the Los Angeles Coliseum, one of the wildest motorsports events ever. Brought to you in part by the bottlers of Coca-Cola. And by the makers of Goodyear tires. If you don't have Goodyears, you need them. And America's premier motor oil, Valvoline. Hello, and welcome to the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. We're here for the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Championship Grand Prix. I'm Bruce Flanders, and along with me to call the action, Larry Huffman.
Bruce, you think of the LA Memorial Coliseum, you think of the 1932 and 84 Olympics, and of course, the Coliseum is the home of the Los Angeles Raiders, and it's a wild place.
But there's no football going to be played here tonight. They've really made some modifications to this facility.
A lot of modifications. Mickey Thompson's built a man-made dirt battlegrounds of high-speed straightaways and humongous jumps, and he's got the top off-road riders and drivers in the world here tonight.
Hundreds of truckloads of dirt to transform the whole look of the place. And right now, let's all go for a lap around the course.
Let's take that lap with Mazda driver Glenn Harris in his factory Grand National Mazda truck. The course is a half-mile long, 6 turns and 5 major jumps. Down that front straightaway and bumping the rear of Rod Millen, the other team Mazda driver. Then into a left-hand hairpin, which funnels the trucks into a space wide enough for only 2. A right-hand turn out of that hairpin and heading for the world-famous peristyle, a unique part of this Coliseum course. The drivers go up 70 feet to the peristyle, the top of the peristyle, and then the peristyle loop, which is unique in that the trucks go out of the spectator's view. Then back to the top of the peristyle and 70 feet free-falling to the bottom of the peristyle, the floor of the Coliseum. At the bottom, a sharp right-hand switchback turn through some rough whoop-to-doos, and they set up for the fastest part of the course, the back straightaway. The trucks will be hitting close to 70 miles an hour with a couple of jumps thrown in just to make it interesting. At the end of that back straightaway, a very difficult and dangerous washboard section, and then a left-hand sprint car type sweeper. Then back up to around 65 miles an hour and over the finish line jump. And that's a lap of the Coliseum course.
We're coming right back with Grand National Sport Truck Heat Race #1 right after this. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. Earlier this evening, Grand National Sport Truck Heat Race #1 ran, and it was a dandy, to say the least. The lineup looked like this just before they took the green flag. On the pole, Danny Thompson in a Chevrolet. Next to him, Sherman Balch in a Nissan. Second row, Walker Evans in a Dodge. And number 5, Glenn Harris, whom we took that lap with in the factory Mazda. Third row, number 15, teammate Mazda, Rod Millen. Number 20, a privateer entry, Tom Halliburton, another Mazda. And then back on the 4th row, all by himself in number 12, Spencer Lowe in a Nissan.
Earlier today, Bruce had a chance to talk with Danny Thompson, the son of Mickey Thompson.
With me now, the only Chevrolet truck driver in this whole field. And Danny Thompson, that's kind of a tough assignment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We're working against the Toyota factories and the Nissans and the Mazdas, and they've all been out here for a couple of years doing all their research and development work, and they're pretty far ahead of us. But I think this is our second race, and we're starting to work pretty good, and I think if we keep everything going in the right direction tonight, we'll have a pretty good chance.
Now,
Danny Thompson had teething problems with his Chevy truck last month at the Rose Bowl in his last race. Power steering, and then he actually rolled the truck, which is pretty serious teething problems, Bruce Flanders.
Oh, it is. Anytime you get him upside down. Watch for the green, and here it comes. Thompson apparently gets a heck of a start, and that Chevrolet making a lot of horsepower for him. Gets well out in front, but watch that battle behind him, Larry.
A tremendous battle as Glenn Harris in the factory Mazda goes in front of Sherman Balch into second spot, and then around the hairpin, there goes Balch on the inside, and he just forces his way through.
And Walker Evans back in the 4th place spot gets rearranged just a little bit. The sheet metal changing its shape on these trucks as we come through the peristyle end and out of the sight line of the spectators and ready for that free fall back into the Coliseum.
Danny Thompson, factory Chevrolet, flying through the air with the greatest of ease. He's got a lot of experience. He's raced off-road, sprint cars, Formula Atlantic, Super V, and he's a tough young cookie from Costa Mesa, California. But Sherman Balch right on his back tire.
Well, that Nissan, the red, white, and blue, and the number 10 on board out of Fremont. He was a winner when they ran down in San Diego at Jack Murphy Stadium. But through this rough section, it looks as though Thompson's Chevrolet getting through there smoother than anybody else. Whoa, especially smoother than number 15 15, Rod Millen.
I'll tell you, Thompson's got a lot of power, Bruce. He's putting it to the ground, getting through the rough sections and flying over those jumps beautifully. Sherman Balch, the factory Nissan, trying to move up on him. And that number 10 and then number 5 is Glenn Harris in third spot. But it is Danny Thompson's race all the way now.
Well, as we look back on it, remember that second place and third place have both been winners in main events in major stadiums already this season. And Thompson has yet to put together his first win, even in a heat race like this one.
Danny Thompson out of Costa Mesa in the Chevy, the X-Side Battery Chevrolet out in front. Look at him go through the rough stuff. You're absolutely right. He is going through that washboard section a lot better than the Mazda and the Nissan. Holy Toledo! Look at Walker Evans.
Walker Evans having a handful with his Dodge, but he's still in a good transfer spot into the main event. We'll see if the Dodge can make its appearance later on this evening. And up on two wheels, a little bicycle move right there by Sherman Balch, and some smoke now, which actually we're looking back at this so we can tell you that power steering fluid leaking off onto the headers on number 5, Glenn Harris's Mazda.
They're sideways down that front straightaway. This is heat number 1 action. Remember now, Danny Thompson, yellow Chevrolet in front, right behind him on a factory Nissan that's reputed to cost around $160,000 is Sherman Balch. Nose to tail, they head for the peristyle once again, and we're in the last lap action of this first heat race at the Coliseum.
Up the climb one more time with 3 different optional windows or portals to go through as they exit the facility, but only one single narrow line to come back into it, and boy, they fly back in onto the floor of the Coliseum.
The drivers told me earlier, Bruce, they come off that peristyle jump, they see nothing but blackness, darkness as they head down. They hope that there's nobody crossed up beneath and stalled. On the back straightaway is still Danny Thompson, the final lap, and Sherman Balch just can't get that Nissan close to him.
Both of them looking for that transfer to the main, and also fighting right now for the better starting positions in the main event. And Sherman Balch will not give up. And the Chevrolet, well, the Chevrolet is putting down lots of horsepower. As Larry said, checkered flag. Danny Thompson wins heat race number 1. Sherman Balch ends up second, and the third place spot going to number 15, Rod Millen out of New Zealand.
Danny Thompson dominating heat number 1. Bruce, what do you think was the key?
Larry, it had to be the way the truck covered the rough terrain. It really went over it smoothly, plus the amount of torque that engine was putting out.
Putting out a lot of high speed. Danny Thompson in that V6 Chevrolet-powered truck. Looking awfully good in heat number 1. Let's go on to the Goodyear victory stand and a very happy Danny Thompson and Sandy Reid. Sandy?
Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Danny Thompson. What a beautiful job. Into the winner's circle with Chevrolet, Danny.
All right, thank you very much. The Chevrolet performed really well. This is only our second race, and the thing's really starting to work good, so we're happy for the X-Side and Chevrolet both. Thank you very much.
Did you make any special changes in it at all?
We've just been struggling with teething problems during the whole week, being that it's a new truck and everything, and it looks like everything's finally starting to come together, and the crew and I are all very happy.
Well, I don't think you're the only one that's happy. I think this crowd is happy over Chevrolet. How about it? Let's hear it for Danny Thompson.
Thank you.
The Grand National trucks are rapidly becoming the most popular class in short course off-road racing. Earlier, Bruce went to the Nissan pits and talked with Roger Mears.
We're down in the pit lane right now taking a close-up look at Roger Mears' Nissan truck, the newest of a generation of off-road trucks. Roger, is there any basic differences right off the top that you can think of between this one and the old one?
Well, yeah, first off, this is the new hard body, and it's, of course, it's got all the good safety features like the chrome ollie roll cage all the way through, and the chassis has all the structural braces to support it, to take all the abuse we put it through.
When you are in here and driving, is it a comfortable driving position? Is it somewhere you could spend hours, or is it a very intense place to do your work?
No, we concentrate, real well on the driver comfort, because I am getting older, and I like all the comfort I can, and I think it really enhances your driving to have all the things where you want them, the steering wheel. I mean, let's face it, those are the tools I have to work with, and the mechanic, he is real particular about what kind of tool he uses to work on it, so I want my tools where I want them.
All right, your tools. We'll be looking forward to seeing your tools work a little bit more, Roger Mears, who also loves to fly one of these Nissan trucks. Yeah. Probably going for a pilot's license soon, right?
That could happen.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Roger, for spending some time and walking us through the truck.
Thank you, Bruce.
And the lineup for heat number 2.
And it'll be number 18, John Swift in the Ford. Number 3, Steve Millen, the points leader in the Toyota. Row number 2 has got number 2, Ivan Stewart, another Toyota, and number 1, last year's champion, Roger Mears in a Nissan. Going back to row 3, number 6, Mike Falkowski, a privateer Toyota. Number 7, Jeff Huber, a hard-running Ford. And all alone on the 4th row, the only other Chevrolet, number 14, Billy Moore, and we're green, Larry.
And out in front, a battle, but taking over the lead, is Millen. Millen got a good hole shot from the outside, and that Popeye's Ford in second being Nutt. He's trying to hold on to second, but it is Millen in front.
Millen with the automatic transmission version of the Toyota that they've run so hard, climbing his way out of the Coliseum now with a big lead. He's really opening it up in a hurry.
No question about that. He goes to the peristyle outside the view of the spectators, then back to the floor of the Coliseum.
Millen's Toyota running well as he gets back down onto the floor of the Coliseum. Now blamed one of his sponsors, and this thing can motor. He's out in front, hooking it up right now, Larry, and he looks bad.
He is moving out in front and building up a big lead over second place John Swift. He's 25 years old out of Oxnard. There he is behind him, but Millen flying through the air. Boy, this guy is going for air. He's going to need oxygen, Bruce.
Third place vehicle coming by, the Nissan of Mears. Fourth place, it's Huber in the Ford, and then the other Toyota of Ivan Stewart, and they are really motoring at the moment as you look at Steve Millen.
Steve Millen, New Zealand, out in front, a former rally champion, and he is opening up the lead. But here is the battle for third. These guys are hammering each other, Bruce.
Jeff Huber on the driver's left-hand side, Roger Mears on the right-hand side, and nobody's going to give an inch when they come to the hairpin.
That is Huber and the Chief Auto Parts Ford stuck in the middle, and he's got a sandwich as Swift goes to the outside and Mears goes to the inside.
Well, we have rearranged the top positions now. We've got the Toyota of Millen out in front, a pair of Fords with John Swift and Jeff Huber, and now a rather upset Roger Mears sits in fourth.
Whoa, straight up and down, and that's a problem for the Chief Auto Parts Ford of Huber, and Mears goes by on the inside.
So let it show, lap 5, as Mears takes back over the third place spot, and there's beginning to be oil smoke come out underneath the Chief Auto Parts Ford truck.
Now remember, they're battling for the second position. Number 18, John Swift of Oxnard in the Ford, right in front of Roger Mears. Mears is running second, and wait a minute, we got a problem as the Toyota goes to the outside.
That was a lap truck. That was Mike Falkowski, the privateer. These are the factory efforts, and this is still a battle now for second place, Larry, and it's a good one as they bang on each other.
Whoa, and there is Roger Mears trying to get in front of number 18, John Swift. He is hammering at him, hammer and tog, looking at both sides, going to the outside. Number 18, Swift, and number 1, Roger Mears.
Swift gets a lot of torque as that Ford gets off the corner in a hurry, but it looks as though his machine is falling apart around him right now, Larry.
Looks like an auto parts swap meet, I'm telling you. It's still Swift, number 18 of the Popeye Ford. Popeye Fried Chicken Ford.
Millen out in front of it. Swift in second as the last lap flag flies, and Roger Mears trying to improve himself one more spot. Watch him close.
Now remember, this is the battle for second. Millen is way out in front. He's built up an insurmountable lead. We are watching the battle for second as Mears goes over the water barrier, almost goes down. I think he was saved by that jump, Bruce.
It looked like it. Something saved him anyway. Now he's climbing up the hill, and he's still safely in his third place spot. Or are you safe when Ivan Stewart's on your tail?
Steve Millen out of Santa Ana, California now, originally from New Zealand, takes the checkered flag. John Swift is second, and Roger Mears out of Bakersfield finishes third. Bruce, do you think it was the fact that he had a front row start?
I don't know. It could have definitely had something to do with it, but Millen is so fast, so bloody fast.
Factory Toyota, Steve Millen, a rally driver, comes to the United States and starts going right into off-road trucks, and he has done very well here at the Coliseum.
We're going to put him now down on the Goodyear victory stand, unbuckle him, and get him out of the truck.
Sandy Reid, take it away.
Steve Millen, we congratulated here by members of his crew up here on the line. Steve, what a job you did out there. It was just beautiful. You want to stand over here just a little bit? There you go, right there. And you had somebody working on you all the time, and I think you do it.
Well, you know, it's lucky to have a great crew, and my guys have worked hard the last 2 or 3 days, and it pays. Toyota's the best truck out there, I think, and I'm just so happy to be with the team.
You had a bunch of guys behind you with loved to have caught up to you, but I don't think there was any way, Steve. You had it all locked.
Well, what can I say? It's a great little Toyota, you know, but it's just neat to see so many people here tonight. It's a great venue, and I'd like to welcome my mum from New Zealand.
When we come back next to the Los Angeles Coliseum, it will be the slam-bang action of the main event. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. Bruce Flanders along with Larry Huffman, and we're ready for the main event. The front row looks like this. Row number 1, number 18, John Swift, and number 10, Sherman Balch. Swift in a Ford, Balch in a Nissan. Then Steve Millen, a Toyota. Danny Thompson, a Chevrolet. Rod Millen, a Mazda. Roger Mears, a Nissan. Glenn Harris, a Mazda. Jeff Huber, a Ford. Walker Evans, a Dodge. Ivan Stewart, a Toyota. Spencer Lowe, a Nissan. Mike Falkowski, a Toyota. Tom Halliburton, a Mazda. And Billy Moore in a Chevrolet. What a lineup, Larry.
14-truck main event, Bruce Flanders, the largest field ever, twice the size of the heat races. Remember, the heats determine the starting position. All trucks are lined up for the main event.
50-some-odd thousand people here in the Los Angeles Coliseum, and a green flag on the premier event, and it looks like John Swift has got his Popeye fried chicken Ford out in front of the field.
Swift, a beautiful start, goes out in front, then into the left-hand hairpin, and he gets nudged, and out in front goes Sherman Balch.
Boy, if that's nudging, I'd hate to see when they hit each other. Look at that. It is Millen getting really wasted out of this deal. So also is Swift, but now they're well back. And out in front, Sherman Balch, number 10, the Nissan factory racing truck.
That's right. It is Sherman Balch out in front, flying off that peristyle, and he has flown further than anybody else here tonight, Bruce. He is out in front, number 10, Sherman Balch.
Definitely been getting some air as they re-enter the Coliseum. Sitting in the second place is the number 4. That's Danny Thompson with the Chevrolet that won a heat race earlier, and right with him is the Ford.
Huber, the cheap auto parts Ford, slams into Thompson, goes into second spot ahead of Danny Thompson, and there's the back straightaway. Out in front, Balch, and that is Huber running in second spot, and Danny Thompson in third.
Balch making hay while the sun shines. He's opened up now about a 2-second lead as the rest of them come over this hard terrain. Balch now individually over these one-on-one type of jumps, and he sets back up for that left-hand hairpin. Here comes Huber with that hard-running Ford, with what's left of that Ford, and Thompson right behind him in the Chevrolet.
Huber, and out of Apple Valley, California, and watch out because there is Ivan Stewart moving up.
And it was a bump once again as it looks like the Chevrolet and the Ford tangle with each other. Meanwhile, the Nissan out in front, and the crowd's going nuts as these guys hammer the throttle.
The peristyle, the unique peristyle, the Los Angeles Coliseum, as they wend their way around the serpentine course. And there is Danny Thompson, number 4, and losing body parts as he goes around that left-hand turn. Huber right behind him.
And now running out in front of it. Look at, there it is. Balch well in front. The Chevrolet in second of Thompson. The Ford in the third place spot. Then a Toyota. And then finally a Nissan in the fifth place spot. And that's Roger Mears.
Sherman Balch, Nissan factory truck, about $160,000 worth of Nissan out there in front, sponsored in part by Fontana Nissan. He's having a few problems, but very few problems, as he stays out in front.
Climbing the 70-foot climb out of the peristyle end of the Coliseum, where he's got 3 different portholes to choose from. He takes the one in the middle. That's been the good line. Now the big left-hand sweeper, and re-enter the Coliseum once again, and on his tail, Thompson with the Chevrolet. Look at that air time.
Boy, he is getting air 70 feet down to the floor of the Coliseum to the cold night air, but the crowd favorite Bruce Flanders has got to be Danny Thompson. He is getting the people standing up on their feet. He's in second spot right now in that Excite battery number 4 Chevrolet.
And that Chevrolet makes a lot of ground back up on this back straightaway area. There he is flying in pursuit of Sherman Balch. By the way, Larry, let me point out, Sherman Balch was the winner in the big event that they ran at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego just earlier this year.
Sherman Balch, Sherman Tank Balch out in front, right behind him, Danny Thompson. And Thompson seems to have the horsepower edge, Bruce, as he moves up behind Balch into that left-hander.
It's a Nissan, a Chevrolet, and then a Ford running in the top 3 spots at the moment. And again, it's climb out of the Coliseum time for Sherman Balch. Horsepower to the ground. Look at that shot as he gets air out of the Coliseum.
Meanwhile, back in the pack, Steve Millen, who is running almost dead last after tangling in the front in the start, is working his way up. He is into 8th spot. Sherman Balch in front.
By the way, one other thing, too, there was a change just this last... Ooh, a little bicycle there by Balch. A change in the rules this year. They have now made rear-view mirrors illegal. The reason behind that, they don't want to have that defensive kind of driving when someone is attempting to make a pass.
Might point out that these trucks all run roll cages in case of a rollover. They know they're going to roll over. That's Sherman Balch, number 10 in front. And look at Danny Thompson is on the gas. This guy is moving up behind Balch.
He has cut the lead in half right now, and the Chevrolet making such good torque as it did earlier in the heat race is closed up now to what? They're going to touch right there. That's how close it is for first and second place right now.
Danny Thompson again slams into Sherman Balch, and he's making Balch nervous. What he's doing now is trying to psych him out. Meanwhile, back in the middle of the pack, running about 5th spot, is number 1 Roger Mears, and Mears is losing body parts.
Boy, body parts starting to come off of several of these different ones, but Roger in a real bad way. Again, we look at Sherman Balch re-entering the Coliseum. He has headed this thing since the very first lap, and it looks like it's his at the moment.
Sherman Balch, number 10, getting up into traffic now with Danny Thompson on his back tire. Look out! Roger Mears goes off the track.
Roger Mears puts the other factory Nissan out into the weeds, if there are any, here at the Coliseum, and recovers. But number 15 went by, and that's Rod Millen in the Mazda truck.
The battle is up in front. Sherman Balch, and on his back tire, and this guy is all over the track. Danny Thompson in second spot. They're coming up behind Tom Halliburton. They're going to lap Halliburton.
And again, with no rearview mirrors, Halliburton doesn't know they're coming. Balch goes inside of him, driver's left-hand side, and gets by. And it looks like Thompson punted him out of the way, but he isn't clear of the way. Now they're blocking the whole course, Larry.
Sherman Balch going out in front and running away, but these guys don't know what's going on. That's Roger Mears, number 1.
Oh,
holy Toledo!
Now, there's no way through that course anywhere, as there's a complete log jam there. It looks like the Hollywood Freeway at rush hour. Thompson gets away from it, but he's the only one. Halliburton can't get it to refire. Coming around the outside was
Harris. Holy Toledo, the Mazda goes up in the air, and they are stuck there. The rest of the field going through. Here's Mears, and Mears apparently cutting the course.
It looks like Mears found a short way through. I got a feeling there'll be some discussion about that afterwards.
With the rules committee, Harris is sitting there saying, get me out of this, you guys. I'm stuck here. I want to race.
The corner flagmen doing the best they can, but you don't want to get in there too quick with Mears with a gearbox full of reverses and first gears. Let's see if they can get him untangled. That's Halliburton on the left. He's over on his side, and he is definitely in trouble as we come back up on the same location once again. The leaders are back up to this position one more time and trying to double cut the corner and make it by as Jeff Huber, but they're not going to let him make that double cut.
He's got a problem with the front end. The wheels are in odd positions. There is number 2. Holy Toledo. That's Ivan Stewart. He's having problems trying to get around. They get around the collision of the Glenn Harris blockade there. And meanwhile, Danny Thompson trying to hold on. Oh, watch out.
Roger Mears all over the racetrack trying to close in on Danny Thompson in what should be a battle for second place. But you saw Roger Mears cut the course earlier.
Yes, he did. The rules committee is going to have something to say about that. Meanwhile, Sherman Balch, we know he is out in front into the peristyle end. Number 10, Sherman Balch in front.
And he's closing on Spencer Lowe, the third of the factory Nissan efforts. And Lowe, I imagine, would move over and let him by. But meanwhile, still, we cannot get Harris untangled there.
Finally, Glenn Harris gets pulled off, and he's still trying to get around Halliburton. If we could read his mind, Bruce, we could not say this on a family show what he is thinking.
Or Halliburton either. Here we come. We're looking at Roger Mears now, who we think is possibly in third, but probably not because of cutting the course. But he's still racing hard as they try to put Halliburton, greasy side, back down.
Smoke coming out of Danny Thompson's Chevrolet. Power steering fluid, probably. They had problems earlier. That is Danny Thompson, the yellow flatbed truck, now in second spot. Roger Mears coming up, and Roger Mears goes over. And Mears, holy Toledo, the head going back and forth. He is knocked unconscious.
He's out cold, folks. Take a close-up look at that driver. He's not moving. The truck is. It's an automatic transmission. It'll still creep along, but Mears has not moved physically in that truck.
He is knocked out, and here come the other trucks around him, Bruce. They get around him. Incredible driving by that Ivan Stewart going around him.
And look at the power steering fluid burning on the headers now of Danny Thompson. He's still making plenty of good horsepower, folks, and still hanging on to the second place spot. And working on him is number 3, Steve Millen.
Millen is trying to get around. He's going to need a gas mask to do it. Meanwhile, out in front, Sherman Balch way out in front, heading for the checkered flag. Oh, look at the smoke coming out, billowing now out of the XI battery Chevy truck of Danny Thompson.
Must be a little hard to try and figure a way around him, but you don't climb up on top of him that way.
He loses more body parts, turns into a flatbed truck. That's Danny Thompson in second, trying to hold on. Steve Millen in third, but Thompson is smoking, the crowd standing and cheering. They go around Halliburton again and around Mears, still motionless inside the truck.
And we're watching those leaders come around as the last lap flag is now flying. Final time around.
Can he hold on? That's the question. Can Danny Thompson hold on? The power steering has spot. It's got to be giving him trouble, Bruce.
Steve Millen sticks a wheel in underneath, sticks the whole truck in underneath, and Millen has now taken over the second place spot. Thompson's got to double cut the corner. We're back on the leader now.
Sherman Balch in front and pulling away. Now it is Balch in front of the checkered flag, and Sherman Balch, Team Nissan, takes it.
Sherman Balch out of Fremont, California for the win. Steve Millen out of New Zealand second. Danny Thompson gets third. Ivan Stewart gets fourth. And we're going to come back for a victory circle, which ought to be a good one after this. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. And boy, what a wild and woolly main event that was. Word from the medical people is that Roger Mears is okay, and so is everybody else. In fact, let's go now to the victory stand and Sherman Balch.
Have any problems at all?
just off the start. I couldn't get the engine to rev up off the start. It's been bogging on the starting line. So I just did the best and then had to make up for it.
How about the mess down here in the corner?
I was fortunate there. There's a little luck in all racing. I wasn't involved right in it, and I was able to cut inside and around it, and I was able to pass one of the cars involved just before it happened. So I was fortunate there.
For Sandy Reid and Larry Huffman, this is Bruce Flanders. We hope you've enjoyed a look at the Grand National Sport Truck Division of Mickey Thompson's Off-Road Championship Grand Prix.
It does get into a wreck. It does get run into. The natural gas just dissipates in the air.
Let's get ready now for this Class 7 battle. From Lake Havasu, Arizona, it'll be Spencer Lowe and his Nissan going against the Ford Rough Rider of Fallbrook, California's Paul Simon.
Representing the hopes of the Midwest, Scott Taylor and Jim Wiggins, a couple guys from Illinois, going at it in the points championship. Dixon, Illinois, by the way, is the home of President Reagan.
Tom Hawkers from Greenleaf, Wisconsin. I don't know any presidents from there. From Argonne, it'll be Jeff Kincaid, and these two will be looking to punch their way into victory lane as well as these guys. Beetle Bailey, Jeff Baczynski, Jim Bradley, Robert Chastain, Gary Coppins also in the field. Then we've also got Brian Farrell, Dave Hammeister, Greg Smith, Chris Stanley, and the natural gas-powered truck of Dave Vanden Elsen. Green flag just about ready to drop, and we're underway again on the land rush start. And Ivan, if you were driving, what would you be doing?
Well, Marty, depends on how much horsepower you have. If you're on the outside lane, you can carry more speed through that corner. But I would rather be out front just because I like that mud in my opponent's face.
Well, here they come through. That's Scott Taylor and Spencer Lowe going after Jeff Kincaid behind them, along with Paul Simon. So four guys pretty much within striking distance. It's Lowe who's going to take the corner away from Scott Taylor, but whoa, gets a little outside. Taylor managing to hold that inside line.
Spencer Lowe always does a great job, a lot of experience, and he probably has the lightest truck in the field here.
Heading down into the gravel pit for the first time, it's Spencer Lowe with about 4 truck lengths on Scott Taylor. The real battle, Jeff Kincaid trying to hold off Paul Simon. Simon, again, not getting the kind of start that he wanted. He had a bad experience back in the spring race. Actually, got banged into quite severely. Kincaid has opened up a few truck lengths.
Kincaid and Scott Taylor in front of him are both smoking. Kincaid may just have some oil buildup from being have the tank full on the start and having it shaking around there. Scott Taylor has had to worry about transmissions all through this weekend.
Ivan, if you were behind those guys and seeing that smoke, what would that be telling you?
Well, you've got quite a bit of time in this race. I'd be watching and looking for the advantage to get by them, because it looks like they've obviously got kind of engine rings going away or some sort of problem.
Right now, the battle is tightening for the lead. That is Spencer Lowe, Scott Taylor in second. It looks like Taylor is able to catch him up on the braking end of it, but then Spencer seems to pull away a little bit on the straightaway. Down the straightaway again they come. That is Spencer Lowe way over on the left-hand side.
You see the differences in opinions drivers have about which is the fast line through here.
Well, obviously it worked for Spencer. Here comes Scott Taylor, Jeff Kincaid. They are leaning on each other as they hit a turn one. Whoa! Looked like he almost caught a rut there, Kincaid did, but he saves it.
Kincaid is in the worst possible spot for that corner, right behind Scott Taylor, and in his backwash, as I call it, from the rocks and everything, and he has to have a vision problem when he goes through there.
We have to remember this type of a course is really hard on the drivetrain and the engine. You're just about really using that motor.
Look at the smoke now. It's getting more profound out of Scott Taylor's truck as he still seems to be able to stay within striking distance of Spencer Lowe, but how long will be the question. This is a battle for 8th position. That's Beetle Bailey on the left, and Gary Coppins, that is for 8th position on the race course.
Beetle Bailey got a tire going down there in the right rear, and that's causing him to sway across the course and almost get nailed by Coppins there.
Well, they've made contact once, almost made it a second time. Whoa, no, that's Dave Vanden Elsen, our natural gas-powered truck, and word is that he has broken a rocker arm and is going to be nursing it home for the day. So bad news. So nothing wrong with the fuel system, just got to figure out how to get those rocker arms to stay in one piece.
What a great track, though. Look how wide this is. It's just great racing, good passing, fantastic track to race on.
Fantastic countryside as well. You get a peek at it as we take a look at the leaderboard here at the True Value Brush Run 101. Stay with us. Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value Brush Run 101. Let's bring you up on some things that happened while we were away. Scott Taylor has dropped out with an engine problem. That is the battle for the lead right now. That is Spencer Lowe first. Second over the jump is Jeff Kincaid. Third is Paul Simon. This is a great race, guys.
Well, seems like Spencer Lowe's truck has lost a little something. Oh, Jeff Kincaid just about lost the handle on that and went over.
Driving technique needed to save it when you go on the bicycle, Ivan?
Well, possibly a little bit more throttle there. Maybe he's losing a little bit of horsepower. If you keep that back tire spinning, they won't normally hook like that and raise up on two wheels.
That put Paul Simon into second place and stretched out Spencer Lowe's advantage over the two of them, but seems like Spencer keeps falling back into their clutches. He must not have quite the power that he did before.
Let's go back and take another look at that. Maybe he did do that under braking. Possibly a little bit too much speed under braking. He got up on two wheels there. He's also going to let Paul Simon get by.
So he loses the position, maybe over aggressiveness, maybe a tire hooks up on him, but it's still costly either way. But here he comes, hammering back and going to take the position again. Whoa, into turn one, he's got the inside line and passes Paul Simon, and that may be a little local knowledge because he's raced here more often than Paul Simon, but a great pass.
I tell you, I'm really impressed with Jeff's driving ability.
This is Gary Coppins. Now he is stopped at the finish line trying to get it underway again. We're going to show you the reason why Gary came to a halt near the finish line. He gets a little sideways and nose heavy. And Ivan, what does that do to your head, your stomach, and your back?
Well, let me tell you, that jars everything you've got, including the drivetrain and all the suspension components. That's no fun, I'll tell you.
You start out 6'3" and you end up 6 foot. So here we go back to the action, and boy, these guys are not letting up on each other. Kincaid putting the pressure on Spencer Lowe, and Paul Simon doing the same to Kincaid.
Kincaid's truck has been smoking the whole race. I don't know what that is, but he's either got a huge oil tank or something that's not causing him to slow down at all.
Well, that's the Kincaid family among the 40,000 cheering their boy on. He is trying to reel in Spencer Lowe. There they go, down through turn one again. Again, about 4 truck lengths between the three of them, but it's closing up here. Kincaid reeling in Spencer Lowe.
I think that smoke we're seeing is only oil on the headers, possibly.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He's got plenty of horsepower. Here he comes on the inside. They touch. And then Jeff Kincaid makes the pass stick as he muscles his way past Spencer Lowe to take the lead here in the Class 7 battle. And Paul Simon moving in on Spencer. And Spencer's wide.
I tell you that Jeff Kincaid is really doing a great job. I'm really... he ought to be in the Mickey Thompson series. He's driving like
Spencer Lowe loses another position. Paul Simon did manage to make the pass stick through the gravel pit. So there is the second and third place contender. So Spencer, in less than 4 turns, has gone from first to third.
He definitely is losing a little bit of something off that motor because it was running very strong early in the race. It just doesn't seem as crisp anymore. Sounds okay.
White flag is out. Jeff Kincaid on his way to victory here in the Class 7 championship. Look at the crowd in the background, and a lot of them are cheering for this man. Here's the pass, Ivan.
Boy, a great pass. Look at that. He just slides right underneath him, a little tap, and away he goes. Great job.
No harsh rulings from the rough driving committee, huh?
No, I don't think that was quite harsh enough.
Okay, we're back to the turn one sequence as, boy, Kincaid takes that outside line. Lowe has gotten back around for second place with Paul Simon down that straightaway, but they are leaning on each other here into turn number 2.
Well, Paul and Spencer have raced a lot together, so this could be real good here. They get real close.
They may not win the race, but whoever wins this battle is going to have the bragging rights right now.
Spencer holds him off as they head down towards the gravel pit. It is almost a given that that man will win the race. Jeff Kincaid, just one more turn after this one. One big jump. That smoke still pouring out the back, but obviously nothing to worry about in the Miller Genuine Draft Ford as Jeff Kincaid is on his way to victory lane here at the True Value Brush Run 101. Second place is up for grabs. There goes Kincaid past the checkered flag. It's Spencer Lowe second, Paul Simon third, and boy, are the hometown fans ecstatic with this win, only the second of his career for Jeff Kincaid in the Miller Genuine Draft Ford. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to our winner in victory lane right after this. Ivan Stewart back at the True Value Brush Run 101. Ivan has made his way to the victory podium to talk to our winner. Ivan?
I'm here with the winner, Jeff Kincaid. And Jeff, I got to say, that's some of the best driving I've seen in years. We saw you go up on 2 wheels. Can you tell us about that? Do you think it was all over?
I don't know. That was a little bit scary there, but I pulled her back down and had to downshift her a little more and go at her. That Miller Genuine Draft pulled her out, though.
Great job. Did you have any other, were you aware you were smoking at all, Jeff?
That's my panty bagger. That wasn't too much problem there. I wasn't too worried about that, but after I got her going pretty good, I had a little miss at the beginning, but after that, she took right off. And I dug in, set my pace, and I knew I was catching on Spencer Lowe there, and once I got him in sight, I knew I could get by him.
How are the track conditions today?
Excellent, excellent track conditions. The truck hooked up beautiful on them Armstrong tires. My motor ran great on Valvoline oil. It's just a superb job the truck did, just great.
Jeff, do you have any trouble with the rocks out here? I notice there's a lot of rocks on the track. Any trouble at all with those?
Not too bad. There's a couple times I got behind there, and there's a couple big ones that come out, and luckily my bug shield there, my little windshield I got built in there, it protected me from them though.
Well, our congratulations to Jeff Kincaid. Only the second time he's won, but he knows how to get all his sponsors in there. Second place, Spencer Lowe. Third place goes to Paul Simon. Fourth was Greg Smith, and Beetle Bailey came back from that flattening tire to finish fifth.
Yeah, it held on long enough. Now, before we go to the Heavy Metal Championship, we want to bring you back to last June when Greg Gerlach ended up going end over end, side over side. I mean, he hit every corner that there was to hit on this truck. He was unhurt. The truck was way beyond repair to be able to make it to the race. He has had a tough time getting it rebuilt for all the races, but he's back together. In fact, before today's race, he had a chance to talk with our Ivan Stewart.
I'm here with Greg Gerlach, and Greg had a heck of a crash here in June this year, and I've been upside down myself. Greg, can you tell us what's going through your mind today as you start today's race?
Well, as I start today's race, that the wreck actually is in the back of my mind. You know, I looked at the corner, I've walked the corner, and I think I've got it handled now. You just have to go back through it. I knew they weren't going to change the track for me when I came back here, so same corner's there, and we're going to run on through it again this time.
Anything, do you have any idea what caused that accident?
At first we thought it was a mechanical failure, but after reviewing the films a number of times, we just feel that I might have come into it a little bit hot, and things just went out of control, and the truck lifted and over it went.
And you can do something different today than you did in that last race in June then?
Well, first of all, we lowered the truck a couple inches. We did a little changes on the suspension, and I'm going to take a wider line. I'm not going to hug that inside anymore, just in case that rut is in there yet.
So good luck to you today, Greg.
Thank you very much.
Well, in the Class 4 race, everything started safely. There you see Greg making it through turn 1. There's Jack Flannery in the early lead. Greg was 4th, and you can see he made it around turn 1, as did everyone else, extremely well and very clean. Right behind him was Kevin Probst in 2nd place, but Flannery dropped out early with transmission problems.
Once again, all that horsepower broke the input shaft on the transmission. That was 3 input shafts for this weekend.
From that point, Kevin Probst took over the lead, a lead that he would never relinquish in this Class 4 race. Dave Hameister was one of several trucks that went out with problems.
Jeff Dorr, the heavy metal winner from our spring race, came back to finish 2nd in this event after a very poor start.
And again, this was a good tune-up for Jeff as he was getting ready, along with this guy, Joey Flannery, for the race coming up next, the big heavy metal showdown. Flannery, the cousin of Jack Flannery. Then there were others who had problems. Jason Janas, for one, he decided it was a NASCAR race and it was going to be all left turns. After the 360, he got back on course, lost the quarter panel earlier in the race. And then Scott Smith literally decided to toast some marshmallows in the back of his truck. Now, first he didn't realize he was on fire, but then he does the smart thing and pulls over right in front of the water truck and then decides it's time to bail out of here. And as he's getting out, he realizes it's drifting, so he says, well, wait a minute, maybe I can shove it into gear and keep it going. But Scott, just get out of there and take care of business. And we can tell you he was safe. In fact, afterwards, we talked to him about being the hottest driver on course.
Yeah, well, we was going pretty good, and all of a sudden I caught some flames out of the right side of the corner of my eye, and I thought there was another truck on fire up alongside me until I realized it was myself who was on fire.
Well, everything was okay, and we'll find out if he's able to get it back together for the Heavy Metal Championship, because Kevin Probst went on to win the Class 4 crown here at the True Value Brush Run 101. So that brings us to the showdown. Heavy metal time, as Jack Flannery has got that Class 4 repaired, and he'll go up against Walker Evans in his big Class 8. These two squaring off one more time.
And Scott Taylor trying to get himself in the winner's circle. Got one last chance this weekend. And Jimmy Crowder, who, by the way, is driving Jack Flannery's old Ford pickup from last year.
Also in the starting field, defending champion in this event from the spring run was Jeff Dorr, Rockford, Illinois, and Bill Loeb from Marquette, Michigan. It is a huge field. We've got 32 total trucks. Besides these guys, you've got Chuck Brand, Jerry Bundy, Al Drews, Joe Dunlap, and Joey Flannery, Greg Gerlach, Ron Hill, Dave Hockers, Frank Hood, John Conitzer, hold your breath. We'll get them all in here. Mylan Mazanik, Stephen McCrossan, Mark Palatine, Dave Parsons, and Mike Savage, as well as Bill Sherm, Scott Smith, Pete, and Tom Vandehei, and the green flag is dropped, guys, and here we go. Showdown is 32 trucks head for turn 1.
This is when you'd like to have a lot of horsepower and even four-wheel drive, possibly, Marty.
Well, you can see Jack Flannery started on the outside, and look at the angle he's taken, and he's going to take the lead over Walker Evans. Now we're going to find out what it's like to eat a lot of dirt. Whoa, getting a little sideways.
You can see the Walker still got those desert tires on, driving through a lot of mud, and he is sashaying around all over the course.
Behind Walker Evans in third, it's Joey Flannery and Bill Loaf. So we've got a Flannery sandwich right now on Evans. Jack and Joey with Walker in between.
And that four-wheel drive truck of Jack really gets hooked up in this front.
Now the question mark again is, will the reliability of the transmission and the drivetrain allow Jack Flannery to win this race, get to the finish line?
Anytime you add that another two-wheel drive in the truck, Marty, you're just adding that much more possibility for a breakdown. And we'll see what happens with the four-wheel drive.
So far, so good as Flannery makes the turn, which will be the finish line just a few more times around.
You see Walker Evans hug the inside of that turn, trying to find some dry track for those dry desert tires he's running.
Well, that's Joey Flannery in third, Bill Loaf in fourth, and whoa, look out, Jimmy Crowder gets crowded right off the racetrack.
Jimmy almost got pushed into that finish line pole.
And that's Jason Janis at the bottom of your screen. He's back underway. There is Walker Evans, followed by Joey Flannery, followed by Bill Loaf. And Walker trying to reel in Jack Flannery and not having much success.
I think as we see this track get drier and drier, we're going to see Walker pick up the pace and pick up the pace. We'll get all that horsepower hooked up here pretty quick.
So far, everything going Flannery's way as he is thundering down through turn one more time. And you can see the fans lined up along the fence, and you can hear them.
Jack's a great favorite here, and he's hoping that four-wheel drive truck stays together, I'll tell you.
So are the fans. Boy, they are in full volume, and so is that Chevy Thunder as he goes around, a little wide in that turn. Tires breaking loose, but Jack makes the save before he gets into trouble. Heads down towards the gravel pit. Boy, he has opened up a big lead. Look out, that is Greg Gerlach. He is into the fencing, and Gerlach has torn up his truck again. Last June he did it, and he's done it again here. Look out there. People are having a tough time getting around him because he's on the blind side of that hill.
That's an awful dangerous spot to be in, Marty, I'll tell you.
I wonder if there's something wrong up at the apex of this corner, because we saw Jack Flannery go really wide there. Greg Gerlach has gone wide. Let's take a look at the previous lap here. This is Pete Vandehei. He also went wide. Perhaps there's some oil or something up at the apex of that corner. It's making people slide out into that berm and hit the fence, and in Gerlach's case, almost goes over the fence and out into the street.
Well, we should tell you it's about 100 yards further on into the pavement area of the roadway that goes by the race course here. So it would have had to go quite a distance, but boy, that truck's going nowhere right now.
Marty, they're probably carrying 60, 70 miles an hour through that corner, so you can imagine how tough that is to make.
There goes our leader, Jack Flannery, past the damaged vehicle of Greg Gerlach, and boy, Walker's tiptoeing through there also, so everybody's gotten the message. Slow down. As we're at the True Value Brush Run 101, we'll speed it back up right after this. There's your leaderboard. And Ivan, the Iron Man Stewart, back with you at the True Value Brush Run 101, and that is our race leader, Jack Flannery. And he is trying to put away Walker Evans and the rest of this 32-truck field. There you can get an idea of the margin between these two greats of off-road racing.
Marty, he's...
Whoa, wait a minute, Ivan. Don't mean to interrupt you, but we've got a fire, and that is Scott Smith again. Now, remember, we showed you highlights from the Class 4 race where Scott caught on fire. Certainly not a highlight in his driving career, but he on fire again and out of this race. Hopefully, we'll get word to you as soon as we know he's okay.
Ivan, the track's drying out now. Is the four-wheel drive's advantage going away, and is Walker's two-wheel drive going to hook up, be the setup now?
Well, they should be. The two-wheel drive should be able to catch up here pretty quick.
Well, right now, Flannery streaking down the back stretch, making the turn one more time. But wait a minute. Wait a minute. Flannery is pulling off to the side, and it looks as though the transmission problems have come back to bite him one more time. Notice he's looking down at the shifter, and here comes Walker Evans, your new leader. And we don't have to worry about track conditions, fellas, because the transmission spells doom for Jack Flannery.
Boy, that is a shame. He was doing such a great job, too.
Walker Evans now with the bit between his teeth, That man can only wonder what might have been if the transmission could have held together just a little bit longer. A frustrated Jack Flannery, an ecstatic Walker Evans. He knows all he has to do now is keep his Dodge on course, and he will win the Heavy Metal Championship. Second place is Jeff Dorr. Now, Dorr, who won the Heavy Metal crown back at our spring race here in Crandon, can only hope that Walker breaks because he's that far back. Here is fourth place Scott Taylor.
And about to go down a few more positions with a flat right front tire that's going to take him into the pits.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to be able to keep going on that problem. So, yes, there he is pulling into the pit. They'll change the tire. Meanwhile, here is Jimmy Crowder going by, and he'll take over the position. Fourth place now for the Tallahassee veteran. There is third place Bill Loaf. This will be his best finish on any of the 3 times that we've been televising the True Value Brush Run. He's having a great day. And it's been a rough day on the banners and the fencing here at the course. Let's show you what happened just a few minutes ago. This is the 316 of Jerry Bundy. He wiped out an entire row of banners and almost went towards the Parsons Pond area, but managed to save it. Meanwhile, here is Walker Evans coming into that same area of the course, turn 1.
Walker's just exactly where every race driver wants to be. Out front, going away, everything looks good. What a great position to be in.
Well, he is approaching Herb Roseborough. It was lap traffic, and Walker just a few more turns because we're on the final time around here at this 2-mile layout at Crandon, Wisconsin, back inside.
And you can see the results of following Jack Flannery around here. It's been a real muddy ride for Walker and his co-driver David Kreider as they head around the final time through the gravel pit and head up towards the finish line.
You can see Walker's still got one left hand on the wheel, the right hand on the shifter, and just relaxed and just doing great.
Well, Ivan, it looks like you're going to have to talk one more time with your venerable opponent here on the Stadium and Off-Road Desert Series. Walker Evans makes the final turn and takes the checkered flag to win the Heavy Metal Championship here at the True Value Brush Run 101. The cheers of the crowd in the background and the stream rolling by in northern Wisconsin. We'll be back to talk to our winner right after this. Today's ES, go down to Victory Lane.
Well, we got Walker Evans again, and Walker, you make it look so easy. Any trouble at all?
Well, not really. Once the track dried up, we started picking up the speed, and actually, Jack pulled off, and that just left me running right out front.
Yeah, you know, I watched the start of that, and he did get one heck of a start.
He really did. And anytime you got four-wheel drive scratching on the ground, you're going to move a lot of miles down the road a lot quicker.
Walker, I'm going to make a phone call right now. We get through here, I'm going to go back and call Les Unger with Toyota and get one of them Toyotas out here to race you. You did a hell of a job.
Well, I'll tell you, I love having you here to race. I'll tell you, we need Roger here too, right?
Exactly. You know, I talked to Jack Flannery yesterday, and he said his one dream was to beat Walker Evans. He's going to have to wait one more year, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly is, but I'll be back.
All right, Walker. Congratulations again, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Great job.
Well, let's take a look at the final results. Here behind Walker Evans, it was Jeff Dorr in second place, Bill Loaf in third, Jimmy Crowder fourth, and Scott Taylor rounds out the top 5 here in the True Value Brush Run 101 Heavy Metal Championship. Let's go for closing comments. First to Jerry Garrett.
Well, I think the key to this race may have been taking a step backwards. Walker Evans took a little step backwards on horsepower, and that gave him the reliability that he needed to win these races. Guys like Jack Flannery, they got plenty of horsepower, but it's a little too much for the transmissions they're trying to pull that horsepower through. I think maybe if they took a step backwards, they'd find some reliability too. And from what I've seen out here today, there's plenty of horsepower left once you take that little step backwards. I think that's going to help a lot of these guys if they learn that lesson. Marty, Ivan?
Well, that's going to do it for us today here at the True Value Brush Run 101. We want to thank you for watching. I also want to thank you, Ivan Stewart. Any last impressions?
Well, I think it's just been a great racing, good crowd, a lot of enthusiasm here, and you watch for the Ironman coming back next year.
Yeah, but I've got a sneaky feeling, folks, it's going to be with a race truck because you want to take that title away from Walker.
You're right.
So long for now from all of us here on ESPN's Speed World. At the second vehicle from the right-hand side, that's Spencer Lowe, and he will have the onboard camera for us. In fact, there is the view out the front of Spencer's truck. As we're just about ready, inside of him, that is Scott Taylor in the 700. He won this division last year, but he will not repeat as champion as he's had a disastrous Class 7S season. Just the opposite of what his Class 8 has been. And boy, on the start, Spencer Lowe getting out to a good lead. On the outside there, the blue and yellow truck, that's Jim Wiggins in third, right behind. Oh, and Spencer spins it.
He's completely off the track, Marty, and there goes the whole pack right by him.
So Spencer, I don't know if he got tapped from behind or whether or not he just lost it, but from the in-car you could see he took an off-course excursion, and boy, he finds himself back in about 7th place. Look at this action.
That is really going to hurt Spencer. He's got a lot of traffic to contend with now. And not only traffic, Marty, look at the mud that's coming up, and the mud in your face, the mud in the radiator. So there's a lot of factors. When you make that kind of mistake, it really costs you.
And Spencer is in 7th place right now behind Dave Wolf, right in front of him there in the Ford. On the outside, this is a pass for the lead. 7:37, Johnny Greaves around Tom Hawkers. These two finished 1-2 at De Pere just a couple of weeks ago, with Hawkers being the victorious one. Now Greaves trying to return the favor. Let's go back to the start. I can't tell if he got hit or not. That's Spencer Lowe. Yes, he does, but he got a little loose first.
That's right. I think he was already on his way, and it looked like Scott Taylor may have helped him on around that spin.
So Spencer in 7th place, trying to fight his way back into this battle. The current points leader in Class 7S. Down at the far end of the race course. Whoa, Hawkers gets up on the bicycle, and he's going to lose a position. Jeff Kincaid will take over 2nd place. Right behind this man, Johnny Greaves. Now, remember, we made reference to Greaves being little iron as he goes into the fast sweeper. Well, that's because the other racers have heard Ivan's comments, how high he is on Johnny Greaves' talent. So they have nicknamed him Little Iron. And so now you've put a lot of pressure on this kid.
Well, I do think he has a ton of talent. I think he can go a long ways. He has an old truck. I'm familiar with that truck. And it was an old desert truck. And he can throw that thing around so well that I'm just really impressed with him, Marty.
I thought you were going to tell me that that truck was older than you.
Can't be that old.
Well, this is a battle for 7th place between Dave Wolf in the 766 and Al Walentowski in the 712. And oh, Walentowski spins it. So again, these two tight 180-degree corners are claiming victims left and right. Well, mostly to the left, because they're both left-handed corners. But there's the battle for 1st and 2nd. Here's 3rd place. Spencer Lowe has moved up that fast. While we're watching Walentowski go around, he has gotten by Hawkers. That's Kincaid in 2nd behind Johnny Greaves. Here comes Lowe.
And Jeff Kincaid, I'd like to say also, has got a lot of talent driving the Ford. He's very, very experienced on these type of tracks, and he's always pushing Johnny Greaves.
Well, there is Scott Taylor getting a little sideways. He's in a battle for 5th, Ivan, with Jim Wiggins. We're back on board now with 3rd place Spencer Lowe.
And Spencer's got his work cut out for him. You can see him going through the gears there, and he's making good time. He could do very well this race.
Boy, you talked about Kincaid and his talent. The one problem he's had this year has been reliability. He's got a limited budget, and he's had some engine problems from time to time. But boy, right now he is all over the back tailgate of Johnny Greaves.
Well, we've watched some great racing throughout this whole year between those two. So, we expect a lot from those two guys.
In fact, as the season has progressed, Ivan, I feel that Class 7S has given us consistently some of our best action all year long.
Well, I agree, Marty. This has always been good racing. As soon as this race comes up, this is the one I really, really enjoy.
Greaves in 1st, Kincaid in 2nd. Here comes Spencer Lowe in 3rd, and then there is the battle for 4th. But whoa, look at everybody. That is Hawkers and Taylor and Wiggins in that order, and looks like Wiggins may get around. Oh, and Hawkers is slowing down. He has broken the right rear suspension.
He's either got a flat or he's busted. I think he's actually busted that wheel completely off on that big moguls back there.
So Tom Hawkers is out of this race. He was our winner back at De Pere. He's trying to nurse it back to the pits, but his day is done. There's the leaderboard here at the Goodyear Great Northern Challenge. Stewart back with you at the Goodyear Great Northern Challenge, and this is the battle for 1st place in Class 7S. It is Johnny Greaves right in front of Jeff Kincaid.
And I've got to tell you, Jeff Kincaid is hungry. He wants a win in the worst way. Look at him throw this truck through these corners.
No holding back now. The laps are winding down. This is that tight, twisty section of the course. Again, 180-degree left-hander. Greaves, Kincaid, whoops, and Greaves gets a little wide, and Kincaid's going to take the lead.
Well, he took advantage of a good situation there. It was a good move.
The first time this year that Jeff Kincaid has led any of our televised races in Class 7S. He's been plagued by bad luck, misfortune, engine problems, and a limited budget.
And look at Spencer Lowe's coming up behind both of them. They're getting caught up in traffic themselves, and Spencer's gaining on them.
This could be a great finish between these three. As you're right, Ivan, Lowe is reeling both of them in. Kincaid and Greaves, followed by Spencer Lowe over the triple jump section. Ooh, Oh, and Kincaid hits very hard.
Well, what he did, he come down, he hit so hard, he bounced the front end out. Oh, look at here, Johnny Greaves goes by him. He bounced the front end so hard, it put him out in the loop stuff, and Johnny got right underneath it.
So he had no way of turning the truck into the corner, and Greaves takes the lead again. This is a great race as we have got just a few laps remaining. Greaves right in front of Jeff Kincaid, and Kincaid's got the hammer down.
He is serious. And Spencer Lowe right behind him. Look at the view from Spencer Lowe's truck.
Look at how much vibration we're getting. We don't normally see this much vibration. All three of these guys have the pedal mashed to the floor at this section of the course. Once they come over this hill, on the binders hard and into this hard 180, Ivan.
This is where concentration really pays off. They've got to take advantage of every little piece of ground they've got. Don't make a mistake. Keep those guys behind you.
Looking for the other driver to make a mistake for sure. Whoa, and Spencer gets up on two wheels momentarily, but makes a nice recovery. Here it is from the outside view as they come straight towards us. Johnny Greaves. Whoa, and look how Kincaid gets wide.
Look how hard these guys are driving. This is great racing.
Greaves wide on this sweeper, right behind Kincaid, and right behind him, Spencer Lowe, through the triple jump section.
Marty, also, these guys have got something we don't use in stadium racing, that they have mirrors. We can't use them, but they're using mirrors so they know exactly who's behind them, how close they are.
Boy, Spencer Lowe's getting real close to Jeff Kincaid. Greaves opening up a bit of a lead, but whoa, Lowe loses some ground coming out of that turn. Down the front straightaway. Johnny Greaves. The margin on the final lap beginning to open up. The white flag is out one more time around.
Well, Johnny's got the lead now, but he's got to be going through his mind the fact when we were in De Pere, Wisconsin, he had a lead, made a mistake, knocked a tire off the bead, and it cost him the race.
So still a lot of pressure on the shoulders of this young man as the pressure from behind is building in second place. Kincaid trying to hold off Spencer Lowe. Now remember, concentration at this point, you don't want to make a mistake. Oh, and Spencer goes up on the bicycle but makes a nice recovery.
Let me tell you, Marty, they're driving 110% here. There's no letting off on this race.
Through the rhythm section one more time. Whoa, look at Greaves getting wide, Kincaid sliding, Spencer sliding. This is what it looks like from the outside.
Oh, Kincaid got real sideways there. That's going to open the door a little bit for Spencer Lowe.
Kincaid, Spencer Lowe. Who's going to win this race? Who's going to finish second? Whoa, Kincaid getting real sideways. And Lowe's going to dive on the inside. No, he can't make it stick. Oh, Kincaid goes straight off the course. He's just too hot for the corner. Johnny Greaves will not have a problem like he did in De Pere. He will win the Class 7S championship here at the Goodyear Great Northern Challenge. Spencer Lowe will come in second. What a great finish to this race. Watch what happens to Kincaid.
Well, it looks like it may have just been the pressure. He knew Spencer Lowe was behind him, maybe a little bit too much throttle. Got it up on two wheels.
We'll take another look at it from inside Spencer Lowe's Nissan. You'll see just how close he comes to going all the way over. Kincaid saves it, but loses second place to Spencer Lowe. A very happy Johnny Greaves. Let's catch up to him as he takes the helmet off.
How's it feel? Oh, man, that is the greatest. That's never supposed. I've been trying so damn hard for that week after week, and it's always something. I said, I get in the lead, there's nothing going to stop me this time, and it was close. Boy, Jeff gave me a run. I saw Spencer coming, and I just kept my lines and stayed cool and pulled me through.
Well, a very excited Johnny Greaves, and he should be. He beats Spencer Lowe, Jim Wiggins, Jeff Kincaid drops to fourth, Chris Stanley finishes fifth. Back with more after this. Well, as we get ready for the Heavy Metal Championship, a quick update. We found out the real problem Walker Evans had was a broken torque converter, but as you can see, body panels are going back on. They're going to be ready for the showdown.
We're over in Joey Flanders' pit where they're repairing the damage from the earlier rollover. Now, the truck looks horrible. Looks like it's torn up very bad, but they tell me it's all cosmetic. The major problem they had was just a hole in the radiator. They're going to repair that, and they're going to make the Heavy Metal Challenge.
Over in Greg Gerlach's pit, you can see the remains of the rollover damage. Some new body panels put on this vehicle, but the real damage came up front as they lost the transfer case and some suspension pieces. But as you can see, it's all back together, and Greg Gerlach will be ready for the Heavy Metal Championship.
Our fourth question is Jeff Dorr. Now, you had a heck of a rollover in the Class 4 race. Can you tell us a little bit about that rollover?
Well, going into that turner, I just didn't see that rut was there. And the right side of the truck hit that rut real hard, and it slammed the truck on the top a little harder than I expected. And I could feel it real hard on the shoulder. And think to myself, gosh, I hope I didn't really hurt myself because I got another race I want to get into. Thinking about that as I'm upside down. But I got out of it all right, and the truck's fine, and I feel pretty good. A couple of aspirin took care of it.
Well, before we take off on the heavy metal showdown, we want to show you highlights from the Unlimited Buggy Challenge here at the Goodyear Great Northern Challenge. And we're going to pick up the action in the race with Todd Attig from Dixon, Illinois in the 922, grabbing the early lead. But that would not last long as Pittsburgh's Art Schmidt in the number 902 charged forward, took first place away from Attig. Later in the race, Scott Schwalbe discovers that wheels just can't roll sideways very well. In fact, sometimes they just don't want to roll at all. And Schwalbe's race was over. Then the battle for fourth heated up after a number of laps that went nose to tail. Jeff Probst in the 099 gets by Dan Badeau in number 905. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Art Schmidt was busy holding off Todd Attig, who just ran out of laps trying to catch the speedy leader. And Art Schmidt sails home in the 902 to another checkered flag in what's become a great year for the Pittsburgh native. Well, it's time now for what we've all been waiting for, Heavy Metal Championship. There you saw Walker Evans. There you see Jack Flannery. And boy, that's just two of the names that are going to be battling for this crown. Flannery, of course, from Crandon, Wisconsin. Walker Evans from Riverside, California. He'll be in a Class 8. Flannery in the Class 4. Scott Taylor will be in his Class 8 as well. He's in a Ford-powered machine. Then Kevin Probst in the Chevrolet will be in a Class 4. He'll be wearing number 499. Then Jeff Dorr, as we pointed out, made the repairs, a little sore in the shoulder, but the Rockford, Illinois resident will be ready to race, as will Greg Gerlach from Dakota, Minnesota in the Dodge, the yellow number 402. Jamie Flannery will be taking over in the Class 8 Chevrolet that his father also drives. As you take a look at the rest of the field, again, this is a luck of the draw start, and you can see that it's going to be interesting, to say the least, at the starting line, Ivan.
Well, Marty, this is the big controversy always. Who's the fastest, Class 8, Class 4, two-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive? I believe today I'd want to be in a four-wheel drive.
That was Walker Evans, the view out the front. This is Jack Flannery, the view out the rear of his Chevrolet. And then here is Scott Taylor. So 3 in-car cameras for you in the heavy metal showdown.
Now, this is the area of the track that's extremely slick and dusty. Let's see what happens.
Jack Flannery on the outside trying to get around Chad Hall. It looks like he has done it. That's on board with Walker Evans. He started in row number 2, and he is behind Jamie Flannery as they head into turn 1, and it looks like he's about 4th place. In row number 3 at the start was Scott Taylor. We're on board with him now, and he is behind Pat Flanagan.
Oh, he's back in the dust, and this is a rough place to be.
Jack Flannery up front, one of 3 Flannerys in this race. Down in that very soupy section, that's Joey Flannery and Chad Hall getting together, and whoa, look out, that's Jamie Flannery spinning.
There again, there's that slick part of the track. We go from dry to slick again. What a challenge for these guys.
Very dry at this end. You can see the dust flying. Flannery first as we look out the back of his truck. Look at him chewing it up through the rhythm section.
800 horsepower, a lot of dirt coming out the back of that truck.
Boy, Walker Evans shaking his fist. He wants to get around Probst, but he's having a tough time. Looking out the front of his Dodge. Whoa, as Kevin cuts across the bow and takes the corner. Whoa, and Walker spins it.
Oh, I think he got inside those tires. That could be a no-no.
Oh, he's cutting the course. Could be interesting to see if SOTA officials want to penalize Walker Evans for that maneuver. We'll keep you posted if they do. Back to the battle at hand. Again, this section of the course, a little wet, to say the least. Take a look at the spin, Ivan.
Now, it looks like he just got a little bit too much speed in there trying to get it from Kevin. Got sideways. He caught it, but now he's on the wrong side of the tires, Marty.
And then he comes straight across rather than re-entering the course where he left it, so it'll be up to SOTA to determine whether or not he will be penalized. Now, look at the difference between the dry section. The guys with the water truck just got a little too happy with it down here.
Well, they did, and it's a little bit of a shame because it gives a big advantage back to the four-wheel drive guys.
Speaking of four-wheel drive, Greg Gerlach gets around Jimmy Crowder. That is a battle for 6th. Here's a battle for 3rd. That's Kevin Probst trying to duck down inside Chad Hall. And right in front of him, whoa, look out. That is Joey Flannery, who was in 2nd place, ripping up the banners and the fencing at that end of the track, and he's got an exploded right rear tire.
He just blew that out on something. He has no tire at all back there, Marty.
Here is your race leader, Jack Flannery. Behind him now is Kevin Probst in 2nd place. There is Chad Hall in 3rd. Joey Flannery running in 4th, despite the torn up right rear tire, but he's not going to be there for long. Here comes Walker Evans.
Walker's on the move. And Joey's going to have to go in and get a tire. He just can't run like that.
Further back in the action, there is Scott Taylor and Jamie Flannery. It's strange to see those guys so far back. They're behind Jimmy Crowder. In fact, Taylor getting around Crowder at this point as they head down through the triple jump section. Oh, and they touch.
They come together. That's that slick track for you. It's just hard to keep a line through there.
Diving down into the corner, Crowder's on the outside. Whoa, and Taylor can't get the brakes on. Neither can the 815 of Jamie Flannery. Take another look at it, Ivan.
Well, it looks like Scott Taylor got off the side of that jump, but they come together. It is awfully slick. It's hard to keep a line right there, Marty.
Well, we'll get another view at this battle for 6th place from inside. You can see all the dust. And yes, they do make contact with the quarter panels as they come over the jump, the third of the triple jumps. And now you can see what the end result is as Scott Taylor is out of the heavy metal championship. Very, very frustrated. Stay with us. We'll be back with more. There's your leaderboard here at the Goodyear Great Northern Challenge. The Goodyear Great Northern Challenge, and that is Joey Flannery pulling into the pits. Cousin Jack Flannery is in the lead, and whoa, Ivan, he spins the truck and he's in the lead. And look at this, it doesn't look like he's got front wheel drive.
Well, I tell you, Marty, there's something we don't see Jack Flannery do very often, and you might be right. He could have lost the front drive on that truck.
Probst right behind him now. This is a battle for first place. Out the back of Jack Flannery's Chevrolet, you can see Kevin Probst.
Now, next time we get a chance, let's take a look at that front wheel. Here we see it. Let's see if we can see that front tire. Look at the pass. He's got a problem. There's no front drive on Jack Flannery's truck, Marty.
And Kevin Probst takes the lead as they come down the front straightaway. So it is the Chevrolet of Kevin Probst. Here is the battle further back between Jamie Flannery and Jimmy Crowder. That is for 4th place, and Crowder spins.
That is extremely slick right there, obviously, Marty.
So Crowder gets passed by Jeff Dorr. He'll lose another position. There goes Dorr flying by. Back up front with our leader, Kevin Probst, again down to that very tight, very slick, very muddy 180-degree turn.
You know, Marty, that might be the reason that we saw Jack Flannery spin early. I'm sure it was. That's why he's been so sideways and he's had so much trouble.
Look at this, no power through there as he has lost the front drive, and Chad Hall passes him for 2nd place. So Jack Flannery's now back to 3rd. Here is our leader trying to get around the 802 of Dave Hockers. And Hockers is going to go around the very same place that Jimmy Crowder spun. You can see how just like ice that corner is.
That shows how patient Kevin is. That shows the experience. He drives the truck around. He's not getting excited. He's got the lead. I'm sure he knows he's got the lead. Here's Walker Evans.
This is out the back of Jack Flannery. He's in 3rd. Now we're looking out the front of Walker Evans' Dodge.
Well, even right there, Marty, see how sideways he got? Normally we wouldn't see Jack Flannery do that.
So again, we'll go back out the back as we can watch this battle for 3rd place from the 2 in-car cameras. And again, from Walker's perspective, and it looks like he's going to be able to get on the inside here. Can he make it stick? No, he's got the same problem. He's sliding.
Well, we got the same trucks. We got a 2-wheel drive now versus a 2-wheel drive. They're both a 2-wheel drive.
Jack Flannery down the front straightaway, 3rd place still in hand. In fact, he's opened up the margin, as you see, looking out the back of a Chevrolet.
And it looks to me like he's going around and around, Marty.
And you just went for a 360, folks. On board, and there's Joey Flannery back after getting his tire replaced, and he has to spin it as he gets on the binders.
I don't believe we saw, but Walker Evans also got by in that spin.
So Walker will now be in 3rd place, and oh, Chad Hall, our 2nd place runner, is up on his lid. There goes Walker Evans past him to take over 2nd position. There is Jack Flannery. Also, Dave Hockers, several other trucks getting through. We're waiting to see if Chad Hall is okay.
Oh, that's a shame. Chad was doing so well. Yeah, that's that same quarter, Marty.
Now, let's go back to Jack Flannery's spin. Remember, we saw it when we were on board. Here is the in-car view from Walker Evans' vehicle, and yes, he does go by, taking over that position at that time. And so now Walker Evans is in 2nd place.
And it looks like Jack Flannery was polite enough not to pull out in front of Walker, just for some reason let him go by. That was a good move.
There's the margin to 1st, though, as the leader goes by. Kevin Probst comfortably in front of this man, Walker Evans. Walker with Pat Flanagan. Whoa, and they come together, and Flanagan goes around.
Whoa.
And Evans maintains control well enough to maintain second place.
That wasn't intentional, Marty. That's awfully slick there. I think he was just going to drive underneath him and just happened to get a little bump.
Well, Flanagan was lap traffic, and there's no way he can catch first place, so I agree with you. I'm sure this was not intentional, but watch as they come together. He's got the brakes on, and he just can't stop. Flanagan gets pushed all the way around.
And Pat comes over into his line a little bit. That's a racing incident.
So Walker Evans finds himself having all kinds of trouble with that far end of the race course, just as everybody has that's got two-wheel drive. Here comes Kevin Probst. He'll come down to take the checkered flag and win the Heavy Metal Championship at the Goodyear Great Northern Challenge. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner. Well, as we get ready to wrap things up here at Lake Odessa, here's a final check of the heavy metal results. Of course, Kevin Probst on top with Walker Evans in second place and Jeff Doran third. Let's go to victory lane. Ivan?
Well, Kevin, we talk about the awesome horsepower of the 800 horsepower Chevrolets, the big Dodges. Well, you make about 600 horsepower with this with relatively lightweight four-wheel drive truck. Tell us about it.
Well, the Goodyear Chevrolet here, we got a new engine sponsor, and they helped us out, and it's just a nice, strong, small block, putting out about 600, like you said. And ProTech Engines, I got to say thanks to them and thanks to Goodyear, because they put us on the track this weekend. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here.
It looked as though you had a game plan, and you stuck to it. You stayed clean. You made your passes clean. You didn't get in any trouble at all. Was that the game plan?
Well, the starting position I just had to play it by ear. You'll see what happens. You know what that's like. You know, when you go into that first turn and you never know who's going to spin out in front of you, and a lot of the 8s went out in that first turn over there, and I could cut underneath them, so that's where I got by Walker, and then the other guys, I don't know where I got by them, but it really worked out well for me.
I was a little bit concerned in one of the corners, the slippery corners, where a truck actually spun out, and I don't know if you were aware, he almost hit you.
No, I didn't see anything or feel it, so he must not hit me, but obviously we came through with the victory, and, you know, Goodyear and ProTech Engines, I got to thank them again, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here right now.